are waiting for this particular panel discussion. So I request you all to show some excitement. Are you all excited? That's amazing. And thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing this particular event. And to begin with, do you think experiencing romance in real life is a prerequisite for penmanship of a romance book?
आई थिंक दूसरों की गलती से भी सीख सकते हैं, मतलब खुद गलती करने की ज़रूरत है क्या? Well, jokes apart, first of all, I'd like to thank the team. It's an honor to be here and speaking to all of you. I think, no, it's not important. To some extent, we can get inspired from people around us, and it's okay. You learn things when you see. It's not important to experience, especially when what we write in our books with the heartaches and with the pain and everything. Like, it is inspired somewhere from the reality, but I don't think it's that important to experience in the real life.
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for organizing all these and with this passion and with this energy. So I have gone to so many book events and so many literature festivals. This is amazing. The way, the energy, the audience, और ये जो romance panel है, and I'm just seeing that people are excited about romance because romance writers are here. तो जो भी आपके प्यार की जो problem है, we might not manage to solve, but I'm excited that there is somewhat you are connected with romance. So everyone is somewhere inspired. कभी न कभी किसी को प्यार तो हुआ ही होगा. So coming to the point, and I'm little differing to Anamika. What Anamika is saying. Suppose आप यहाँ पे कितने लोगों का हार्ट ब्रेक हुआ होगा, okay? So जिसका दिल टूटा है, वही उस जज्बात को एक्सप्रेस कर सकता है. It's really hard. So बात yes. So looks like बात दिल टूटने की, the smile is coming on your face. It shows unless until आप उस emotions के through you have not gone through, it's really hard. So it's romance में theory नहीं होती. It's a subject of practical. So you can understand. आपको experience नहीं होगा, so you might rounding around the bush, आप center पे नहीं पहुंच पाओगे. So you want to say something?
So for me, it's like I'll define in Vadodara way. So romance is something which is jalebi goes to fafra, right? And fafra goes to jalebi, vice versa. So that's a jokes apart. But I think as you asked, so for me it's like always inspired from a real life story. You name the author, and they all have their story which they derive from their own life, right? So for me it's like very much related to your own life and how you bring to people. So in that way I would say.
Thank you so much, sir. And I can completely relate to it because most of us students can always relate to relatable content, and we look forward to read such content. We also see that a lot of movies are made using various romance books. Do you think that the essence of the book is lost or rather reduced when a movie is curated out of it?
When I wrote my first book, there were a couple of scenes in the book, and I was very worried because I thought, what would my mom feel when she'll read the book? So she asked me one question: what do you have written in the book? I said, Imran Hashmi does on the camera, and I have written in the book. But you know, when now the time has changed, right? In the OTT platform, time has changed a lot. There is no certificate on the OTT platform, right? So the motive is to bring the TRP for the shows and for the channels. So of course the content changes, and it's very disappointing. You cannot create the replica of the book into a movie, because you cannot cover 500 pages of book into 90 minutes movie or 2.5 hours movie. Of course it does, which is disappointing, and you cannot find a resolution for it. So yeah, of course it does.
So I completely agree with you, because what we see on the screen, like in a movie form or even web series for that matters, it is time restricted. It has a certain limitation, and obviously so many filters to be put on it, so that it just passes all the clarifications and everything. So, and with book we are not restricted to, like, no publisher or even readers, they don't tell or say कि 300 पेज से ऊपर हम नहीं पढ़ेंगे. It's not like that. We can have series and series, and it is like that. So obviously कुछ तो essence lose हो जाती है, that's for sure. But I also think that it totally depends on the content, because so there are certain stories that needs to be told, that demands कि ये masses तक पहुंचनी चाहिए. And if they are made into a movie or a web series, then it's fine, because for the sake of it, just for the heck of it, they want that content to reach masses. So that's okay, because their purpose is being fulfilled. They just want it to reach masses, and not everyone is reading the books, right? There are very limited number of people who are reading books. They are more inclined towards watching things, web series, movies and stuff. So it totally depends on the content. But yes, if it's a very soulful movie, like I'll give you an example. If any one of you have read the Harry Potter series, and if you've watched the movie, everything, have you seen? Just raise your hands, I can't see. So अगर आपने दोनों चीज़ें कंज्यूम करा है, दोनों टाइप का कंटेंट, you will agree with me, आधी से ज़्यादा चीज़ें मूवी में है ही नहीं. It has lost so many things, and when you read and when you see, you're like, ये missing है, ये cut कर दिया, ये तो नहीं था book में. So that happens. But then there was the demand of this Harry Potter universe to come out and reach masses. So I think that's my answer.
Yes, so I also wanted to add one point. Movie में एक music का factor भी है, that is missing in the book, because when you are reading a romantic scene, so it's all depend upon आप कितना imagine कर पाते हैं. But with music on a screen, you can feel it little differently. However, I have rarely seen कि कोई movie is better than book, because of movie made for commercials. Movie has to go earn money. It's a huge expenditure, so all those problems are there. But music is one portion where book lacks. But we are a writer, so हमें तो बोलना ही है कि book is better than movies.
Songs add कर सकते मूवी में. Like there were some books which used to come with a CD. It was, I think, 10 years back or something. Original soundtrack.
I guess that particular idea will, it'll just emerge in.
I hope someone sees.
Definitely. Yes, sir. Okay, just to probe further, the 50 Shades of the World are catching young India's attention, because they also perhaps have a notion of love that is beyond the classic Shah Rukh Khan movies, cute hero-heroine narratives. Why is erotica as a genre still missing from Indian literary pop culture? What are your thoughts on this?
I think the Imran Hashmi has to answer. Okay, so see why? Because I don't know whether you managed to understand the question. Question is very straightforward कि हमारे जो adult content है वो, so it's why it's not so popular in books. The real issue is we still feel कि the first question जो हमारा था कि for writing a romance book, somewhere you had a feeling of romance, then only you can manage to express your emotions. It's very natural. The same way, if you are going to write a adult scene, a sexual scene, the first question will come कि आपने ये experience किया है. So writer की half of the energy is gone. She or he cannot imagine and cannot write. खत्म. Yes. So half of the notion of writing a erotic scene has gone. This is one. Second piece of thing is, I will just quote up a nice example. A few years back, there was an adult audiobook, or I was hearing that audiobook, and accidentally it was written by Indian author. So someone, narrator was an Indian girl, and she was she was narrating with a pseudonym. She was not revealing her real name in an audiobook only. So it's still in market. and I think it was a story tale, if I'm not wrong. So I understood, because and if you see all the foreign writers, unka audiobook hai, so those ladies are quite confident, they can share it's my voice, because it's all within your mind. Somewhere sex is a sin, ये पाप हो गया, पुण्य हो गया, इसी में ही परेशान है. तो that's the reason you work with that notion. People are going to judge you, and it's all your mentality. Once you open out totally that I am what I am, and then the adult content will start coming up, and I think India is catching up a lot, and we are not behind. You might have not read most of Indian books, so that's the reason. Rest, I think.
Yeah, I think many of us have watched this movie called 50 Shades of Grey, right? E.L. James. She was the author. I think the major reason that we do not write 18 plus content in books is that कि लोग क्या कहेंगे. The first thing is that करते तो सब है, लेकिन लिखना और बताना कोई नहीं चाहता या डिस्कस कोई नहीं करना चाहता. I think that's the main cause of concern also. Being an author, it's a responsibility that you freely talk about, and within the lines you talk about it. So I think there is no, I personally I feel that there is no problem writing sexual content, and it is required to write, because it's हमारे स्कूल में तो सिखाया नहीं जाता sexual education, we do not have it. So I think through books we can learn, through non-fiction or fiction books. I think it's a great responsibility, and for readers also it's a great advantage that we read those kinds of books. I'm not telling you just go and just do the practicals of all these things, but at least you should have knowledge, because at any point of time in your life you need it, and it's whether consider it. इस पे सबसे ज़्यादा तालियां बजेंगी.
उन्होंने ये नहीं बोला है कि ट्राई करो, उन्होंने कहा है नहीं ट्राई करना.
Yeah, so I was saying in your whole life you need it somewhere, and whether consider it as an entertainment or whether consider it as an education, but I think in both ways, as an author, as a reader, we should do it.
I think it totally depends on the content. So if any one of you have read my work, I'm a very old school person. If you follow me on even social media, or you just know me from somewhere, you know I am a very old school person. I'm living an old soul in a new body. So I think it totally depends on the content. If the story requires you to tell that particular thing happening between two people, you need to tell that. If it is not required, I think it is no point adding just to spice up things, or just to generate curiosity amongst the readers that okay, isme itna part bahut amazing hai, go read. So I totally think that it is about the content. So I personally feel ki like none of my books have any of the 18 plus restricted content, because I didn't feel it wasn't required, because I personally believe love is much more beyond than physical attraction. It is soul to soul connect. It is that powerful, and love is the most powerful energy in the soul universe, right? So if you are able to express what love is, and because love and romance are both different things, so if you are talking about love and if it is not required, then I think it is not required, no need to add. So that totally depends on the content, on the story, and obviously reader's choice. Some people like reading, and some people are really like, I know a couple of authors who are very confident, very open about it, and they write it because that's the genre they prefer writing, and that's the demand of their story as well. So yeah.
I would like to add a line. So as Anamika shared, love is between two souls. But वो दो soul करेंगी क्या बैठ के? चाय पे चर्चा तो नहीं करेंगी ना? Right? So they have to.
नहीं, चाय पे चर्चा का भी अलग ही एसेंस है, ट्रस्ट मी. बारिश हो रही हो, चाय.
They dissolve at that certain point, right?
No,
and that's also a form of love, right? That's also a form of intimacy. Yeah. So I think it's in both ways it's right. I mean, some writers write in like very classical way of romance. Some people like it like in what E.L. James did. So I think it's perfect.
Yeah, it totally depends on the type of story, I feel. Yeah.
It does vary. I agree with that. Thank you so much for that answer. From the era of the likes of Jane Austen, romantic literature has come across a lot of changes. Can you throw some light on how romantic literature has changed over the years? What is the main difference that can be observed between present day novels and the novels that are certain old?
You'd like to answer? So I believe technology plays a very important role here. Like when we talk about old novels, because the technology wasn't there, internet, phones, WhatsApp, it wasn't there, right? So the love was waiting for years, waiting for months to just to meet the person, going across, traveling miles just to see that person. So that was the charm of olden times, and when the romance books were written at that time. Now enter technology, everything is so fast, so quick, and we have become so impatient. Like I have seen WhatsApp, like I'm not so old, but WhatsApp was introduced in front of me. And I know I have also become so impatient. अगर वो डबल टिक नहीं होता है वो देन डबल टिक के बाद ब्लू नहीं होता है एंड यू आर लाइक कि ओ माय गॉड रेड नहीं हुआ रेड होके रिप्लाई क्यों नहीं आया so that effect, that mindset has changed. We have become so impatient. We want things now. We want things to happen. That comes in the books as well. So unless you are someone, or like if any author is writing a story of set in that era, then they will retain to retain that charm. But otherwise it's a modern love story. I think it's all tech based, clicking selfies and Tinder and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I completely agree to her, because I will share my personal experience when my first book came in back in 2012. That was based on my own life. So I was in my college, JP University, that was 550 kilometers away from Delhi, and I used to travel every weekend, mark my word, to meet her. और आजकल के टाइम that is the time 10 years back, and अभी आजकल तो WhatsApp पे ही प्रपोज हो जाता है और WhatsApp पे ही ब्रेकअप हो जाता है. So of course the time has changed, and I still feel कि जो 10 साल पहले या उससे भी पहले का जो प्यार था अभी भी होता है. Of course I'm completely agree with it, बस जो पहले का जो the way of romance था वो बहुत अलग था, and I completely feel that.
Yeah.
So I
agree. अभी तो अनब्लॉक ब्लॉक वाला गेम चलता रहता है.
yes. और अभी आप
उसने मुझे ब्लॉक कर दिया, ओह दैट पर्सन अनब्लॉक्ड मी.
और अभी तो आप एक व्हाट्सएप से कितने ब्रॉडकास्ट कर रहे हो वो तो आप ट्रैक नहीं कर सकते, राइट, ड्यू टू दैट प्राइवेसी पॉलिसी और व्हाटएवर इट इज. सो दैट्स अ डिफिकल्ट थिंग, एंड वी आर इन अ टिंडर एज, सो that's a question mark.
Just wanted to add one more thing here. The old school romance था आज भी वही है, याद तो है. Only one thing is changed. Love language has changed. आज आप कमीने कुत्ते भी बोल सकते हो, and that can be termed as love. पहले ऐसा नहीं था. तो love language has changed a lot. आप जितनी गहरी दोस्ती उतनी गंदी बातें. So love language has changed a lot. So you cannot imagine a novel of Jane Austen written 200 or 100 years back जहाँ पे sophistication was a language. When you're calling your partner hello gentleman, hello mister, those kind of things has changed a lot. So love language, I feel I wanted to add that point only.
Thank you, sir. Anuj sir, what inspired you to write the book It's Not Right But It's Okay, which had revived plot which was within the lines of realism?
So the motive was completely different. I come from a background where there were no English books. I come from a complete Hindi medium background. Something happened in my life, so I started writing. So first book was Journey of Two Hearts. And that point of time, because that I wrote for one person only. And my complete motto was, if the book reaches to that girl, my job is over. Because writing was nowhere in my dream or in my path. But what happened, my every next book was the feedback from the previous book. So when my next book came, it was a feedback from Journey of Two Hearts, and It's Not Right was the third book. So that was, someone was reading the second book, and he said that it's not right but it's okay. And from there I took the title of the book. So that's the one thing. And as I said, my every next book is an either experience, my personal, or I have seen through some other eyes. So in that way my every next book comes. So I think that's the motive, and that's why my book takes little time compared to other authors. I think 7-8 books in last 10 years. People have written 15-20 books in last 10 years. So I do not compare. So in that way, when I feel it, when I think that I have to write, then I write, because not just the books are my ways for bread and butter, So I write with passion. Commercials are always there, but I don't keep myself dependent on my writing. So that's the reason I take time. And as I said, my books is completely based on experience. So that's how I do.
Best thing takes definitely a lot of time.
Yes, yes, yes.
A lot of your books are based on your personal experience, as you've mentioned earlier, and your life stories. Do you think that had a role to play in the success of your books?
Of course it does, because as I mentioned कि जो सारी किताबें हैं वो एक I have been to I'm 34 and जो पिछले 10 साल की जर्नी है या उससे पहले की what I have seen in my childhood days, वो सारा जो निचोड़ है वो किताबों में आता है. For example, the recent I have written is crime thriller. Now people will ask me, I have moved from romance to crime thriller. I think that's the result of it in today's world, right? When you fall in love, then you think you're going to do the crime. So that's how I started writing. The Barabanki book is actually a story which I heard when I was 5-6 years old, right? Based on counterfeit medicines. So that's how the experiences, all the experiences that I had or I have seen through some other eyes, or I have felt. So वो सारी किताबों में आता है. And I think that's the only I would say the backbone of for me personally, for being an author, I think that's the backbone of it. When I experience it, I write it. That's it.
And if you ask me, I would always say that thrill is always associated with love. So thank you so much for that. Thrill is always associated with love.
Yes. Of course, as I said, when you fall in love, then what happens? The breakup happens, then you try to think that isko maar hi denge aaj, right? So just jokes apart, but yeah, of course. I mean, my books are based on true stories. So whatever I've seen, if I've seen crime, I'll write crime. There was a book called Give Your Heart a Break that is based on sibling relationship. That's based on my sister's life. She's fighting domestic violence cases and all. So I thought I'll write something which is very necessary for youth, because nobody has written previously about sibling relationships. We all talk about all relationships and all love, romance, everything, but there is a romance, there is a love between a brother and a sister as well, right? And I was completely intimidated to write that book. And I think that's a different, not a different genre, but yeah, of course, a different theme of the book. So जो भी लाइफ में होगा वो लिखेंगे. अभी के टाइम में क्राइम थ्रिलर हुआ तो क्राइम थ्रिलर लिखा, आगे जाके मैथोलॉजी होगा तो कुछ मैथोलॉजी लिख लेंगे. I'm not like bound to that.
Thank you, sir. Anamika ma'am, your book Voice Mates has a very unique plot and a wonderful message. How and when did you decide to write this book? What was your source of inspiration for the same?
Okay, so first I'd like to give an idea about the plot of Voice Mates, because many of you must not have read the book. So it is about a girl who secretly wishes to become a singer, but she has this pressure from her family to, study and get this really cool college and do IIT and stuff like that. So she enters this reality show called Voice Mates secretly, and this is a duet singing reality show. So she comes across this guy, and then they both participate. Now she's sneaking out and participating in the first round, second round, giving auditions, and she's qualifying. Now there comes a time when she has to tell her parents, and that's the plot of the book. So the idea behind this was I wanted to be an author, wanted to be a writer, and I was and I had friends who were interested in acting and singing, and there were so many, and I wrote this book back in 2014. It got published in 15, and thing was that they were scared to have this open dialogue between their parents and tell them that okay, I want to do this because this is really an unconventional career. You say you want to become an actor, you say you want to become a singer, writer, and your parents will be like, पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? You have to have a job security if you want to live a good life. And I agree, वो अपने पर्सपेक्टिव में बिल्कुल ठीक हैं. They want their kids to live a good life. They want their children to have a quality life and not just cribbing for money here and there and now and then. So now the youth, they are very scared to share about their passion to their parents, you know. And the book was all about how it becomes very important to have that open dialogue. See, if you have a passion for something, I don't have a, you know, background, no godfather in the industry or no contacts, not coming from a shitty rich family. It was just a passion to tell stories, to write books, and to, you know, inspire people in some way. So that book was just to tell people that if you have a passion and if you have a belief that हाँ मैं ये कर सकती हूँ या मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, then tell your parents, tell them that yes, this is a plan, and not just ऐसे पागलपन जाके बोल दिया कि okay, I got inspired and now I want to do it. Go with a proper plan. Give them, tell them, उनको assurance दो कि हाँ मैं करूँगी and I will put my 101% in this. And if God forbid I fail, ठीक है, तब मैं आपकी बात मानने को तैयार हूँ, बट एटलीस्ट गिव मी दिस वन चांस दैट आई डिजर्व, बिकॉज दिस इज माई लाइफ एंड दिस इज माई पैशन. एंड एट द एंड ऑफ द डे बहुत ज़रूरी होता है कि आप सेटिस्फाइड हो, आप खुश हो जो आप कर रहे हो. भले ही आपके पास पैसा कम आ रहा है, बट एटलीस्ट जब आप रात में सोते हो तो यू फील दैट ओके, I am happy that at least मैंने इसमें step तो लिया. So that fear is there in so many people. Like I still know some people who were like कि मैं नहीं बताऊँगा भाई, ये मना कर देंगे मुझे, मतलब मुझे पढ़ना पड़ेगा and stuff. This is wrong. If you want to do something as a career, and if you want to do something in life, if you want to achieve, just tell your parents, have that open conversation, tell them that I have a plan. कुछ ऐसे हवा में नहीं बात कर रही हूँ मैं कि एक्टर बनना है और मैं बस कल तो शाहरुख खान बन जाना है, नहीं. Tell them that I have a plan, I want to join a school, I want to learn this craft and I will make it happen. So the idea was to give this message to the youth that okay, you go for it, if you have really want to do it, and it is possible, you can manifest anything you want. So if you really just tell your parents, don't become a rebel and, you know, disrespecting your parents. Because so when I wrote that book, I am very thankful to God that my parents were so supportive. I have done bachelor's and I was a science side student in college. I have done bachelor's in computer application. Then I did masters in journalism and mass comm, and my parents were continuously supporting my, you know, career choices. And suddenly I was like, and I'll tell you, in masters in journalism also, my specialization was radio. And उसमें भी मैंने 2 बार चेंज करा. First it was filmmaking and then it was radio finally. So and then I was like कि मुझे तो लिखना है, I just want to write. And they supported me. They were like ठीक है, तुम्हें job नहीं करनी है, you want to do this, you do this. So I'm really thankful. Now my parents are no more, so I really feel they see me from up above and bless me and continue to support me. But this becomes really important. People don't realize value of parents, you know. उनका support और उनका आशीर्वाद आपके साथ होगा ना, you can achieve anything in life. And trust me when I say this, anything means anything. So yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. And being not only an author but also one of the India's best travel bloggers and motivational speakers, how has it helped and influenced your journey as an author?
So I'll tell you, I started writing. I was really interested in writing, and my parents were really, you know, into traveling. We used to take 3 to 4 vacations a year, and despite my dad was in bank, so we used to take his day offs and then we used to travel. So I had bitten by a travel bug since really long, since childhood. And so my dad loved photography, and I learned photography from him. And my mom used to write short stories for these books like Tinkle and you know, these fairy tales and stuff, Chambuk and all. तो वो हिंदी में लिखती थी, तो वहाँ से मुझे writing का gift मिला. And so when we used to travel, obviously we used to click pictures. And then in 2007, I was in the first year of my college. Bachelor's का पहला साल था मेरा. मैंने school तुरंत ही ख़त्म करा था. And I saw this advertisement on TV, which was about Save Tigers. And उसमें ऐसा बोला था कि you know, Save Tigers, spread the message भेजो, call करो, blog लिखो. And I was like, blog लिखो क्या होता है? So that's how I just went to my computer and वहाँ पे and there was this free sign up blog अभी तुरंत, and I just opened a blog, and I felt so happy कि this is my own space where I'm free to write anything I want. So पहला article was obviously Save Tigers because that was the inspiration. Then when I used to travel, I used to put out my pictures and incidences. I visited this place, this has this history and stuff like that, and I'm really interested in old historical monuments and cultures and people and food and everything. So I used to write that, and so that was in 2007. My first book came in 2013. So by that time I was blogging, I was writing, I was putting out poetries and shairis and stuff. So now when the book was out, I was already having a certain readership, a platform where I could share my thoughts about my book. So I was writing that. Now this gave me a really good push that I have something of my own and it is my own platform, and now I can expand it. So I decided that I will be doing this work as full time. I'll be a writer. I'll just travel, explore, seek inspiration. I'll just write. This was my thing. As a motivational speaker, see, there is no qualification to become a motivational speaker. People give you that tag. Okay, ये इन्होंने मुझे inspire करा. She's a motivational speaker. I was really shocked when my voice mates came out and released, and there was this college NIIT, and they invited me and they said motivational speaker. That was the first time when they addressed me as an author, travel blogger, and motivational speaker. And I was like, okay, this is something that they have given me, and I accept it. So now when I travel and when I meet people and when they tell their experiences and when I learn about people, because there is a limitation when you sit somewhere, sit at home and write, and how much will you learn from internet, there is a limitation. एक time के बाद आप बोर हो जाओगे. So you have to get out and explore and see things from your own eyes, meet people, tell. Most of my characters are inspired from somewhere, some people I have met, कहीं किसी की कोई क्वालिटी अच्छी लगी, कहीं किसी का बोलने का तरीका अच्छा लगा, कहीं कोई वर्ड ऐसे रिपीट करता रहता है, एंड दैट इज़ लाइक फनी इन अ वे. सो आई इंक्लूडेड इन माई बुक. वो बहुत फेमस मीम है इंटरनेट पे, इफ़ यू हैव सीन दैट, be careful when you speak in front of a writer because it can be used in a book. So it is actually true, inspiration comes from everywhere. So when I travel, I meet people and I meet so many people. So it helps me, it inspires me, and it is kind of a research work for my book, because anyway I'm having this plot in my mind, and then when I'm traveling, it's just acting as a fuel. So yeah, that's that.
Thank you. Ajay sir, your book, You're the Best Wife, a true love story, is a very emotional and tragic love story. What inspired you to write a book based on your own personal experience? How was your journey writing this book?
So it's really scary to take that lead at the last, because few students are already yawning at the back. But thank you for asking this. Okay, so mera jo coming to the question, you are the best wife. Okay, so it's my own life. Now, when I was naming that book, You Are the Best Wife. By the way, how many of you are here from engineering college? Means pursuing engineering, BTech. Only few. Okay. So this is my journey with my wife around 10 years. Okay. So when I have written that book, You Are the Best Wife, मैं publisher के पास गया कि I wanted to write. Publisher read my book and they said, it's a true story. It's a very emotional story. We wanted to publish the book, but book का नाम change करेंगे. So they said, You Are the Best Wife नहीं रख सकते, because that will not work. I said, why? कहते जो लड़के या लड़कियां हैं जो they are looking at the age of 17, they have a plan to marry at the age of 27, उनको लगेगा ये book हमारे लिए नहीं है. Okay, fair enough. So what is the option? Then they said कि आप इसको You Are the Best Partner रख दो. I said okay. And what if कुछ लोगों का wife से झगड़ा हो रखा है and they are very upset with their wife, they are not going to read your book, You Are the Best Wife. I said no, I have to, then in that case I have to go for You Are the Best Wife only. Let me tell you a छोटा सा story, and I will take 2-3 minutes. I will not going to bore you much, but in engineering college I met a girl. Engineering college में या और भी किसी college में बहुत आराम से प्यार हो जाता है, because you go with that mindset. Okay. So I saw a girl, and frankly speaking, if someone will ask me why you love that girl, I say, when you can't define why you love someone, you genuinely love that person. So I had no reason why I love that girl. Thank you. So she was topper. She was क्लास 10th में भी टॉप किया, 12th में भी टॉप किया, इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में भी वो टॉपर थी, मैं भी टॉपर था, मैं पीछे से फर्स्ट आता था, वो आगे से फर्स्ट आता था. सो थैंक यू. सो मैंने कहा कि अगर तुम मिल जाओ तो ज़माना छोड़ देंगे. आफ्टर दैट आई गॉट टू नो कि शी इज़ ए रिच गर्ल, हर फैमिली इज़ वेल्दी. देन आई सेड अगर तुम मिल जाओ तो कमाना भी छोड़ देंगे. सो So 4 साल इंजीनियरिंग की, 2 साल MBA किया. सो 8 साल के लव रोमांस के बाद फाइनली पेरेंट्स को मनाया बहुत मुश्किलों से. फॉर दैट यू नीड टू रीड माई बुक यू आर द बेस्ट वाइफ. व्हाट इज द टिप्स हाउ आई कन्विंस माई पेरेंट्स फॉर सच ए ब्यूटीफुल वाइफ. सो फाइनली लैंडेड अप इनटू वेडिंग. 2 साल बाद शादी के. सो अराउंड 10 years ऑफ इंटायर जर्नी शी हैड फॉलन सिक. उनको एक blood infection हुआ. That blood infection known as septicemia. I don't know how many of you are here aware about that septicemia. So that was a rare blood infection and your body organs start failing. So and that was one of the most toughest portion of my life, and every day she was going away from me. One day doctor called me that she is having breathing problem, her lungs almost and liver both are failed almost. So we are putting her on a ventilator. So since being you are a husband, so you have to give some certain declaration and permission कि I'm okay with that. So I signed that. Then doctor told me you wanted to talk to her. Like of course I wanted to talk to her, but आप ऐसा पूछ क्यों रहे हो? So doctor said your wife is really struggling and this septicemia, it's a very deadly. Only 25% people recovers from that. So, and there is a very, very rare chance of your wife coming out of ventilator. This ventilator will only get removed once she will start doing good. So, it is a high chance you might be seeing your wife for the last time. And when of course I wanted to see her, but bole kya? Because if I am going to talk so many things about life, about journey, she will clearly have an idea that I am definitely going to die. Okay, because she will say why? Means I'm in ICU and you're talking to me those kind of life experience कि मैंने आप ऐसे थे, so I can't talk so much. And if it's and you love someone and last 1 minute given to you, what to say? So I started kissing her, and then I said, I love you and you are the best wife. So that, and after some day I lost her, and that line, I thought that the last line to my wife, I decided to write and name that book, You Are the Best Wife. And so thank you. So my publisher, who thought this You Are the Best Wife will never work, I end up sold more than 3 lakh copies of that book. And thanks for giving me an opportunity to promote that book as well. So this is already translated into 5 languages, and this is the first rare book in India that is translated into Chinese. आप बाहर की book India में लाते हो. This Hindi Indian book, Ajay Pandey की story, this is translated into China, and Chinese people are reading that. Thank you. I have already signed a film contract with that, and let's see how the things unfolds. But how that book You Are the Best Wife worked for me. So You Are the Best Wife, we had a lot of notion कि जो teenagers हैं या young girls हैं या young boys हैं, they are not going to pick. But let me tell you, all the boys, they have gifted to their girlfriend with this book that You Are the Best Wife. So that book worked there. So now why I have written the book, the story is, the intention is so simple that I wanted that to tell to God, you tried to delete one chapter of my life. I wanted to write a book for her. So I will make her immortal. That is my intention to write a book. Thank you. So that is all about why this book. You are the best wife. And just to add, because so many things I'm talking about that book, we have opened a trust also with her name, Bhavna Charitable Trust, and all the earning of that particular book is going for that. So agenda is very clear from the beginning. This book for her, not for me.
Amazing, sir. Amazing. Many of your books are built on plots that address social issues such as discrimination based on gender and race. The story plots are intriguing and at the same time convey a very meaningful message concerning social issues. Why is the message important to you?
Why social message in a book? First of all, I also pick a book. So मेरे को लगता है उसमें कोई मैसेज होना चाहिए. Why? Because when you read a book, आप उसमें 2 दिन देते हो ऑलमोस्ट. इफ समवन इज स्लो रीडर वो 3 या 4 दिन देता है टू रीड अ बुक. योर टाइम इज सो प्रीशियस. ओके, even some it's so precious. Some of people are sitting here and chatting also because time is so precious. So in that way you can't invest your 3 to 4 days just for entertainment. From that story some message has to come, and then that day means I have written a story about AIDS, prostitution. I have written means all with the love stories going around that. So then I decided 3 दिन 4 दिन कोई मेरी बुक पढ़ता है, there has to be some message coming out of that. So that was all my purpose. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just curious because Ajay asked actually कि engineering में यहाँ से कितने हैं, and बहुत कम लोगों ने हाथ उठाया. I'm just curious, कौन सी साइड से हो भाई आप लोग? I'll just forensic science. Arts. हैं?
It hardly matter कहाँ से भी हैं. They have their heart, they have their soul, and they love romance, I guess so.
No, I was just curious to know क्योंकि just to know my audience कि कौन सुन रहा है.
Alright, ma'am. Alright, sir. Moving on to something very much fun and interesting. It's time for rapid fire. So, as you all know, the rules of rapid fire are pretty simple. You'll just have to tell me one word that comes in your mind when I say, for example, literature. What is the first thing that comes to you? So, I am expecting some rapid and fun questions, fun answers from you all to the questions that I'm going to ask. So, ma'am, when I say, okay. So, when I say books, what is the first thing that comes to you?
Book is romance.
So, when I say India,
Love, of course. Love, and India is the best. Anywhere. I'll take 30 seconds. In 2014, I got a chance from my organization, Accenture, to move to US. And I was writing my second book. And so I rejected the idea because I was loving my country. I was loving the city, Mumbai. So of course, end of the day, India is love.
I love India.
And being Mr. Modi ji of the Prime Minister of India, you are lifting the country more, upper. So definitely.
ma'am, when I say VLF, Vadodara Literature Festival,
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. You guys are the best. And tag me जो फोटो ले रहे हो, मैंने देखा बहुत लोगों को.
I will tell you the way everything is treated here. मेरी शादी में भी मेरे in-laws ने इतनी respect नहीं की थी जितना you guys are doing it. So thank you so much.
means a lot, sir. And so, when I say IIMUI,
Again, it's excellent, amazing, creative.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
I want to add well organized. I mean, what systematic way you guys have working, and you all are students. I mean, seriously, guys, seriously. I have been to so many literature festivals, and most of them are, organized by some companies, and and this is all student led. I mean, great job.